What is love without control? Many say that God is love, and I believe that many people like me may misunderstand God to be a divine being imbued with love, who will love his creatures and not allow unfortunate things to happen to them if we give our will to him. And this God is usually seen as a male figure. So, seeing how our world is habitually embroiled in conflict and turmoil from the family to the world stage, my naive belief was shattered. If God truly loves, that love would not come with control, meaning I shouldn't need to pray for peace, and peace should be a given, since God is love. But yet I experience control by those who profess to be followers of his love in the church. And so it's not to my own surprise that I didn't stay in the church for very long. So most of us turn to God when we are deprived of love. I believe that for many of us, we are taught that love is a barter trade. For example, when we do what our parents want, we get something in return. But when we choose to do something apart from what they expect, we suffer the lack of love or attention. And not to mention, if we have siblings, we usually end up competing for our parents' affection, attention, and love. For those who are abandoned by their parents or did not get adequate love from their parents, may find themselves unlovable. Similarly, those whose parents passed early may suffer the insecurity of not having received love from that loving parent who passed, or experience anguish and deep insecurity at the fleeting nature of life. And after growing up, we may behave the same way as when we were kids, yearning to love and to be loved, preferably from someone we choose, someone whom we find attractive. But the same problem remains. We seek attention and love from this person as we do from our parents to feel secure from the vicissitudes of life of which we have little control. Similarly, just as our relationship with our parents may become distant, or if we have never understood our parents and vice versa after growing up, the same may happen to the relationship with our partner and our children. Feeling emotionally distant in a world where attention span only becomes shorter, where humans take delight in technology, food, or pleasures, other than the company we have with one another in the present moment, increases the feelings of loneliness. One may seek fellowship and the acceptance of a group to feel valued. And of course, we may also seek the divine to feel whole, but again, by using the same method we think will get us love from our parents when we were kids. My reflection of love may seem rather depressing with my personal experiences and observations, but that is how I have experienced love. A constant chasing, seeking, and to control or to be controlled. Love is a painful experience for me more than a pleasurable one, since I prefer to control than to be controlled. And I feel deeply when it comes to the act of manipulating someone in order to have that person love me. And I have also been too curtly straightforward to the point of being offensive and presumptuous. And so I have not had anyone love me as I have loved them. Don't get me wrong. We never seek love from another person from the intention to control or to manipulate them. All of us seek an everlasting feeling of love and security, However, our love is always dependent and conditioned. That comes with expectations, which manifests as control. All we need to do is to look at our religious circles and relationships. It's easy to see that in a religious circle, or any circle, we need to fit in with their ideals. Any deviation from the group's ideology risks excommunication, which means loneliness. The same applies to relationship with a partner and friends. We often are afraid to voice our deep thoughts or reflections, worried we might be misunderstood, or that it may lead to the end of a relationship. Lastly, we don't allow our loved ones to die because we fear not having them around anymore as our companions. It's easy to see that fear lies deep in our relationships with one another. Fear is control, and control reflects expectations. Is love possible without control? Where then does expectations come from? I must confess that I did not know the answer till I encountered Buddhism. The Buddha's famous teaching of not self is that the fleeting phenomenon in our sensual conscious experience, called the five aggregates, which are our body, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness, do not belong to us. They are unstable, and we have no total control over them. If they are indeed ours, we should be able to command them. For example, if our bodies are indeed ours, we should be able to stop aging, illness, and death. You see, we seek permanence in our experiences, an everlasting love, immortality, and permanent freedom from pain. None of our sensual experiences involving the five aggregates can lead us to that. This fleeting phenomenon creates dreams and unrealistic expectations in our minds. By clinging onto and identifying ourselves with our body, which produces these five aggregates, only brings short-term happiness and long-term pain. Someone who notices this need not be a Buddhist. Both the Buddha and Jesus spoke about unconditional love. Unconditional love was an abstract concept to me. I didn't think it to be possible and see it as an unrealistic pursuit. And that is because, once again, I thought that unconditional love, like conditional love, ought to be pursued. If we were to spend time looking deeply into ourselves, we may find that love has always been in our hearts all the time, independent of whether there is someone or something to bring it out of us. If love has not already existed within us as a potential, no matter who we see, a charming, good-looking, kind person, or a cute animal, we wouldn't feel the vibrations of love in our hearts. The problem is, when lovable objects come into our experience, the first thing we think about is wanting to own them, so that we can demand that they shine their attention upon us whenever we want them to, so we can feel secure and valued. Being loved makes us feel valued because we only feel alive when we feel that there is someone paying attention to our existence. It is true for both extroverts and introverts. While it is more obvious to see this in extroverts, introverts too seek attention from one or a few people in their lives. Those who seldom meet anyone or have anybody show them much attention often feel lonely. With survival being their only concern, one may feel that there is nothing much to live for. So, I thought what great spiritual teachers have taught humans are so brilliant that their teachings escape the eyes of ordinary beings because it is so simple and straightforward. If we look into ourselves, our attention, often called light, shines within us. How do we shine our own light within us? Obviously, it's through the practice of mindfulness and meditation. In spiritual circles, people often speak about light and love. Love, as we understand it, is a form of attachment driven by fear. However, we have no understanding about what light is. As mentioned, light is attention. Whenever someone pays attention to us deeply, they may see something that we ourselves cannot see at all, and we feel appreciated, as well as being stripped naked at the same time. But what if we were to shine our attention into our very own beingness? When we meditate, our attention span lengthens and it shines inwards. We shine light onto the five aggregates within to see that there is nothing much there to cling onto because they move so quickly. When our attention is stabilized, we can also shine our attention on feelings such as fear and pleasure. We can learn to let go of pleasurable feelings and investigate the feelings of fear and see how both are the same. They are both impermanent. Through meditation, we can see that the five aggregates are curtains that hide the reality of what we really are. Don't you want to see the reality that is hiding behind the curtains of your mind? When we watch a play, we are always excited to see the sets behind them. When we unveil the curtain of the mind, by letting go of the five aggregates, we may see mind-made images of the mind. Our minds are extremely creative. It is able to conjure up images, lights, and colors. Beyond all of that lies a deep knowing or awareness. To me, attention itself is awareness. When we fix our attention on unreality, we suffer unrealistic expectations. When our attention is not distracted by the five aggregates, there is only attention left. And this attention softens and relaxes because it realizes that there is no longer any need to fixate on anything except itself. Fixating on the five aggregates bring on stress. Constantly paying attention to them as the self leads to insecurity and the unrelenting need to protect ourselves in the name of survival, when, in the end, these aggregates never survive. I am using attention instead of awareness because most of us don't understand what awareness is. Attention, in the context of this article, is attention on awareness, or attention on attention itself, open and soft. In this soft, accepting state of attention resting onto knowing itself, love is felt strongly in the heart without needing a lovable person or a cute animal to reveal it. This love fills one's heart fully, without depending on any object. When one with such experience pays attention to a tree or any object, one feels that love being reciprocated. And perhaps one may realize that everyone and everything on earth contains love. Of course, it would be easier to see this in inanimate objects than humans. It is not that humans do not know love, Jealousy, fear, envy are all aspects of love that has been distorted by unwise attention. They represent selfish love, love for the self that brings pain due to the wrong perception of self and not getting what one wants. Being humans, we tend to compartmentalize, define, and want to possess anything that seems to extend our lifespan and happiness in terms of feeling valued. The moment we grasp onto this unconditional love, which we experience through meditation and letting go as a self, this unconditional love disappears. Unconditional love is not always there in our experience because we still need to pay attention to our five aggregates as our daily tools to live. We have to continuously learn that even when we experience unconditional love or any other meditative dimensions revealing the nature of our mind, we are still not yet enlightened or fully awake in understanding what we really are. In our daily lives, we may still get lured by the sensual pleasures and expectations of the five aggregates and still feel fear and loneliness. From these feelings, we may again seek love and value from others. However, having experienced unconditional love, one is wise enough to know the difference between conditioned and independent love. One knows the deep dissatisfaction of love that comes with fear and control, and can learn to let it go compared to someone who has not yet awakened to the reality of what love truly is. I'm still an unawakened being who might still seek to control others because of loneliness. There are still thoughts of hate when I don't get what I want, but I'm at least able to be present with all this unrealistic grasping and expectations, and also learning that unconditional love is accessible and is more real than conditioned love. The rest of my journey to full awakening is to be present with what the divine, which is the true nature of our mind, manifests within, and not to be lured into the illusions of fear and insecurity for as long as I live in this human body.